And I am recording. So today, what we're talking about is looking at some interactive resources. Lately, this has gotten the term known as Bitmoji classrooms. But the idea of these interactive documents have actually been around for a really long time, in one form of another. But Google Docs and a lot of the G Suite really took this to a new edge. But now we see it coming out in a lot of different ways, and people are using this for a variety of purposes. So I thought we would take some time tonight to look at some of these different things. So what I gave you in the resource in the chat is this link to what's known as a Bunee. Bunee is kind of a way of creating interactive, little simple web pages that are really easy to make and for students to access. But one of the big things I want to highlight in here is right at the top is this wakelet of resources. What you notice on the Bunee is anything that has a link, it has a little red link icon. So if I click this, this brings me to a wakelet of all kinds of different things. Now, if you went to my dominating resources to use in the classroom in the beginning of the year or on the October PD day, wakelet is one of the resources I covered. This person is a pretty popular ed tech person on Twitter. She shared a whole bunch of Bitmoji classroom resources that are on here. So as I scroll down on here, I can see there's all kinds of tutorials. And what I'll do is I'll post this link also in the chat if you want to go directly to it. But she has all kinds of different parts. So you guys see there's tutorials. As I go down, she has all, and this is the really kind of great part of this. She has links to all the backgrounds, the furniture, and the posters, the different things that you can make without having to reinvent the wheel. So there's lots of really cool things in here. But what I did is in the Bunee, I kind of picked three of my favorite things that I found in this. So I thought we could take a peek at a couple of those. All right. So I have some of Justin's favorite resources right here. If I click the first one, this is actually like a really simple template that has all of the little different icons and things that you can use. So if we look at this interactive document, all right, this is really just a whole bunch of pictures kind of stuck together to make it eye-pleasing for a student, to make it somewhat familiar so they know what to click and they can know what to kind of expect. So in this little guy right here, this has all kinds of different images. So if I kind of look around and say, okay, I want to look at the different backgrounds, this person has lots of different backgrounds already made. So instead of trying to search the internet to try to find one of these, I can use one of these pre-made kind of ones that they already had found. So some are pretty good, some not so good, but you can find lots of really cool stuff that goes along with this. Now, also included in here, if I can look at these, there's all kinds of neat tables, desks, bookcases. So I can see these different parts. This lets you start assembling your Bitmoji classroom. So the method in which this would work is I would go to something like Google Slides. So I can go to something like slides.new. This just opens up a blank Google slide for me that I can use to create a interactive wallpaper. So I'm not going to use any themes because I don't want a theme. I'm going to delete whatever's in here. And I can start using these different items to populate my room. So if I look at something like my Bunee, I can see the different things that I have on here. So I could take something from here, and maybe I want this nice little shelf unit. I can copy that and paste it into here. And now I have some nice little shelves. If I keep looking around in this different spot, I can find other things to use. Maybe I'll take a little cubby. We'll copy my cubby. We'll paste that in. And there's a little cubby for me to use. Basically, what we're trying to do is create little holders to put our stuff into so that students can see where to click. Also, there's expectations of the things that they will see. So, for example, on a shelf, we're going to expect to see something like books or plants or other kinds of stuff. So I can click like plants and animals. There's all kinds of neat little things that show up in here. I'm going to grab some little fish. That'll be kind of fun. We'll paste that in. So I can place that in there.
Justin, is it the same for the backgrounds? You just copy and paste those as well?
Yeah. So let's look at that. So if I come into there, let's say backgrounds, there's a couple different ways that you could do this. So if I find one I want to use, you know what? How about this one? Looks kind of cool. In this one, I can copy it. The same thing, I come over here and paste. Now, if it comes up on top, if you see how that's like covering all my stuff, if I right click it, I can go to order and say send to back. And then I just have to rearrange some of these things. So the nice thing with using kind of the pre-made little slides that she provides is you're not out on Google trying to find all these things. And that's kind of really the tricky part, is finding the stuff to put in here. Because you can spend lots and lots of time trying to search for things, but really find it hard to do that. Now, what some of the people like to do in here is, for example, if we're reading a certain book, they like to put the book up on the shelf. All right. Now, the thing is, obviously, we're not going to be able to find a certain book just right here. Right. So how about anyone reading a certain book in class right now? Name a book.
What about where the red fern grows?
Where the red, okay. So if I open up a new tab, I can search where the red fern grows.
It always makes Moro cry.
All right. So if I come in here, I'm obviously looking for a picture. So what I can do is I can click images. Now, a big thing with this is when you're looking for a picture, you're looking for something that has what's known as a transparent background. And what I mean by that is if we look at the fishes here, we can see like you can't, the fishes are, there's no background to it. There's no white to it or anything else. You can search for those kind of images within Google. All right. If I click tools, I can go to color and I can say transparent. So what's happening now is it's only showing me pictures that have a transparent background. So if I click one of these, let's say this book right here, I see that there's a checkerboard pattern on the background, and that means it's transparent. That means even though it looks checkerboard, there's nothing there. So I could click View Image. There's my picture. I can right-click, copy, come back over here, right-click, paste. And now I have a copy of where the red fern grows. So I could take that, put it up on my shelf. And maybe obviously in that, I think if I want my shelves to be a little bigger, it will make this a little bigger. So now I have a copy of my book sitting there. Now the trick is with something like this, the student's expecting something to happen when you click that. So when a student clicks where the red fern grows, we have to say, okay, what do we want it to do? So maybe it links to, if I go to Google, maybe this is searching going towards like the Goodreads. So it gives a little synopsis of what the book's about. But the really cool thing is if you can find a spot where it's the reading of it, and it looks like, oh, that's actually the story, right? Red fern grows, let's say book reading. Let's try videos. Oh, here's where the red fern grows, chapters 1 and 2. So I could take this, copy it, and then anything that's on here can be a link that takes you to somewhere else. So if I come up to the book, I can click it and click the link icon. I can right click it and I could select, let's see, link. Well, there's normally a link there, but I guess I don't see it right now for some reason, which is fine. I can click that. I can click the chain link, insert link. I can paste and hit apply. So now when a student clicks this book, they'll see a link that will take them to where the red fern grows. So you can have something that's clickable and viewable by a student. So the point of the Bitmoji classroom is trying to take that material, make it all into one perspective where it's really easy to see that. And then we can even go further. So if we look at the fish going down here, facts about fish. Hey, I find something, a little fun website. Fact, oh, look, here you go. Little fishery information. I can even just take a link to a website. I can copy that. Come over to this guy. If I click my fish, click my chain link, and paste, I now have that as ability to link out to something else. So it's kind of fun, different things that you can do, and it's a little bit of your imagination. Another thing you could do with like a YouTube one is, let's say I look up old TV. So we're looking for a TV that Jared Petra would have used when he was a young child. Oh yeah, let's look up console TV. That'll be fun.
Yeah, none of those are old enough.
There we go. So we'll pick like a little TV. How about this guy? I'm pretty sure my grandpa had this.
I had one of those.
That was ours right there.
Yep.
But actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to say tool. So I'm going to say search color transparent because I don't want to have to remove the background because I'm kind of lazy.
One thing worth noting is that you can also Google search transparent if you don't want to go through that step of adding it to the tools. That does work most of the time.
And so what Derek means by that, if I search console TV transparent, it helps if I spell transparent right. It would hopefully give me some that should have transparent backgrounds. So if I paste that picture in, we notice we have a little TV right now. So maybe I find a different video with a little different topic. Let's say shapes video. There we go. This looks fun and happy. If I copy that link, I can go insert video. I'm going to paste it by URL. And I can just size it so that it fits in my TV. Whoops. A little too much clicking. It really wants me to watch the video. If I can kind of place that in there, as close as I can get it at least.
You can stretch it out a little bit.
I could. I think it'll actually add a little black bars to it.
Oh, does it?
If you make it a little different size. There we go. So now I have a video that actually fits in my TV. So it's just kind of a little fun thing as you're kind of putting things in here. Now, if there's things that you need to label so that students know what to look for, inserting text in here, you can do it a couple different ways. A lot of people just use the text box. So they click a text box and they drag a little thing. Book to listen to. The grammar doesn't sound very good on that. But a lot of people just insert like a little text box like that. But I think, personally, my favorite way of inserting text into a Google slide is to go insert and pick word art I can type something in there like video of the day. And what happens is it kind of puts it into this little box. But the neat thing about it is as you resize it, it automatically adjusts itself. So instead of having to change the font size or anything like that, I can just kind of do drag into fill handles. But then I can do neat things like add different fonts to it. So it automatically adjusts that. But I can also change the font colors. So I can make it something kind of more fun. Put a little purple hubble behind that. And we'll make it a little thicker. So you get kind of a cool little look that goes along with it. So that insert word art gives you a little more ability to do some kind of fun more things with your text. And it makes it a little more eye-pleasing than just a regular text box. But it lets you label those different parts of your Google Slides. So you can put all kinds of different things that you want in here. If we look at kind of like this one also here, for example, we have the links in there. We have the different looks. So we have ways to get around. Now, one of the big questions is how do you get this to students? All right. A simple way to do that is there's two kind of steps you have to go through. Is one, you want to go up to share. Oh, I gotta give it a name. Social demo. When you come up here to share, if you go to the area that says get link, I can click this where it says change link to. It comes up. Now, by default, what it does is it picks whatever school district you are with that you're signed into. But if I click it, I can say I want to change this to anyone with the link. And what happens now is anyone who has that link will be able to get it. So if I copy this, I believe I can show you. If I open up an incognito window, so now it's like I'm logged in as no one. This is what the student will see when they go there. They go to this page. I can see I can click the link. I can click the video. It'll play directly in there for me. I can even click my fish. And I see the link here. So you can place that link and then students will be able to see this. Now you can also do it a little bit differently. If I go to File and select Publish to Web. And here what I can do is I can have this in different ways. I was thinking I could do this, but I don't think you want to do it if you don't have a slideshow. I thought there was a way. Isn't there a way, Derek? You can tell it to stay on one slide and not move? I guess not.
I thought there was.
Yeah, me
Tell
too.
it not to auto advance.
So what we're looking for is normally there's a way they could pick like publish to web and it takes out all the external background, but I don't see a way to tell it not to auto advance. So just totally ignore that and don't do it.
There used to be a way.
Instead, what you do is do share. You make sure you set get link. And what will happen is the students just have access here. Now, if you want to have more than one slide, I can copy this one and paste it so I can have multiple things here. The advantage with that is you could have maybe have a Monday one, a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And when the students visit your interactive page, oh, I lost my link. When the students access this, they could see the entire link's worth or entire week's worth of slides all at once. You would just need to make sure on each slide that you label it so they know which one it is. Now, we did kind of a lot of work there, but you don't have to just use those different things. All right. As we saw with that Wakelet, there's lots of different examples and pre-made things. For example, this second one right here. Oops. Now it's just being mean. Let me click. The third link I have sitting there for you Don't you like when something just doesn't want to work? Let's edit this. I don't know what that little thing talking to me is. Oh, here it is. We'll move that over so you guys don't have that problem. This little link I have has some pre-made Bitmoji templates. So a company called Otis made some of these that you can use. So if I look at a couple of these, you can see they actually have some pre-made layouts. So you can come in here and snag some of these so that you can use these. They also have like a whole little step-by-step article explaining how these things work. And they walk through examples of how you make these and do different parts with it. But also included in there in that Wakelet, there are tons and tons of pre-made virtual ones in here. So you can use these if I pick one of these like visual art room. If I decide I like this one, all I have to do is click use template. And what it will do is actually bring it into my own Google slide that I can now edit. So she gave us 4 different slides with 4 different designs. All we have to do is click the things we don't want and hit delete. So we can do a whole lot of this just redoing. So welcome to Mr. Cowan's virtual art room. So I can do all each of these different spots and just take out the person or the things I don't want. So you don't have to reinvent the entire wheel. Use some of these pre-made templates so that you can just take that material and use it. Now, what I also wanted to show is beyond just using those Google Slides, this Bunee website can actually be really useful. What I did is this middle link here brings you to an article done by an educator that walks through how to create a Bunee. This person walks through how to add the background to it, how to add images, all this really cool stuff. Now, the way Bunee works is you can sign in with a Google account, right? So I'm just signed in. I'll kind of show you here in incognito so you can see what it looks like. Bunee. I can click like sign up. And we just want, I'm already signed in. That's what's going on. Get started free. And I can click sign in with Google. So you can use your Google account. Now we're just using the free version. They have other paid fancy ones, but all we really need is the free. It has everything built in that you'll exactly need. So in the Bunee one, when I open this up, I can say create a new Bunee. This opens, there's pre-made templates. So I can use something that's already in here. Or I can just say start from scratch. But the neat thing about the way this one works, if I say click here to change background, I can just search for what I'm looking for. So I could say class. It has pre-made ones already sitting in here that I could use. So maybe I want to use, there's art. Here's kind of a fun wall one. Little kitchen. Ooh, this one looks kind of hip. We'll pick that guy. And we want to say add to this page. And we can see I already put a desk in there for me, put some shelves, some windows. Now I can add more things to this. If I say click here to add, there's lots of different stuff I can add. I can put like text and shapes. I can put different images. But if I click here, I can search for something. So maybe I search for, how about rabbit? It'll bring up little things for me. So maybe I'll pick a little picture of a rabbit. Ooh, I think this one actually makes some kind of animation. There we go. I can take my little picture of a rabbit. Maybe I put it on a little shelf.
So Justin,
Yes.
Aaron asked if you have to create a new account after 30 days.
No, I'm using the free version here. I did not sign up for a trial. The difference is, so Bunee pricing, choose my account type. So like if you're using some of these fancy ones, this has things like you can do with the paid versions, you can do like personal audio recordings. So seeing the free, I can create features. So I have access to the backgrounds, the templates. I have some audio things, but the paid ones, this is where you can record your own video audio, and you can do those other kind of fancy things. You just wouldn't be able to do that in the free one, which is really okay. That's not what you're looking for. It's not a need that's in there. In the free one, which I'm still using, you can share this with anyone. All right. But in the paid one, you'd be able to download like as a PDF, which we're not trying to do. Now, if you're trying to do it and you needed to, there's no reason you couldn't just screenshot the slides and you would have them as a JPEG then too. So, I mean, there's ways to kind of cheat it as you go through. But I'm only using the free version right now. So I can put little fun icons in there. If I want to put something else in, let's add a different item. I don't know, Derek, name me a creature.
A dog.
Dog. All right. Well, there's little things. Oh, web image. There we go. Let's say dog. Not fog. Dog. There we go. So I can see the different things that come along with it. We'll put a little fun dog picture in there. Oh, we'll put that guy. What's he do? There we go. Add. So on my shelves, I could put items that they're learning about, but then I can even label them. So if I add hit the plus, I can hit some text. Maybe I could put something like learn about dogs. Move this box around a little bit. Now, if you need to change the size of this, you most certainly can. It's kind of hard. Let's see if I can move this. I can come down to this and change the font size. I can change the font types. So I can have that go along with it. And just like Google Slides, if the student clicks the dog, maybe I want them to go somewhere. So let's go to YouTube. Fun dog facts. Now, obviously, if you're going to put this on there, hopefully you pick something that's you've watched. So it's nothing surprising. I can put that on there. If I click my dog, I could say I want it to link to something. Paste the link and hit enter. So now when a student would click that, it would take them to the video. So if I hit preview, I can see what that looks like. Oh, I just need a title. Social demo. And now I can see the little links there, so the student knows that that is a link that can be clicked. And then I can always go back to edit. So the Bunee kind of takes where in Google's Slides, there's a little bit of work that you have to do to it. Bunee just kind of integrates it all into one space that you can access, and it has a lot of the stuff already curated for you. Now, to get this to students, all you have to do is click share. When I come into this, there's a couple things that I can do. I can make it so students can comment on it. I may turn that off because maybe I don't want them to really comment. I can go to code. And so with the code, this gives me a link right here that I can put this link anywhere and students have access to it. But I can also click social, and there's a share to Google Classroom button. So if I were to click that, it would come up to a window and ask me what classroom do I want to share it to. So if I picked one, I could say, what do I want to do? Maybe I create and make an announcement, and I could hit go. This would let me share it to my Google Classroom. So there's lots of different ways that I can get this to my students pretty easily. Any questions on that? Do we like it? Maybe, yeah. I mean, it's just kind of a simple little thing that lets you kind of do that. Now, Slides obviously has the same functionality. You can go to Classroom and you can share your spot right there at the same time. Now, if you want to take this even kind of a step easier, what I set up in here also is there's this link to the Slides Mania here. I got so many little windows now going on, it doesn't like it. Goodbye, all you tabs. We're going to close everything. Now, Slides Mania is pretty neat because it takes a lot of all this stuff and it simplifies it into one little box. Ooh, I must have something overlapping that link. I do. Now, Slides Mania is just a website that has Google Slide templates. But the neat thing in here, if I go to education, there's different ones that are in here, but one of them is like a weekly planner. And they kind of took all the work out of this for you. So I can see they have a couple different designs, right? This one kind of has tabs across the top. This one has tabs across the side. Now they have fancier ones if you have a little older students. So you can pick ones that maybe fit more into your style. But they have some kind of fun ones with different designs. But if I pick something that's kind of fun, like let's say this guy, it brings me to a little explanation of what it is. It has a little instructions on, kind of explains how all the different things work. But I can click like open in Google Slides. I can click use template. And now I have one that's all pre-made for me. If a student clicks one of these buttons, it would take them to the corresponding slide. So if they were to click Monday, it would bring them to Monday. Then you can put in here anything that you want. So maybe instead of reading, maybe this is watch dog video. Write about dogs. I can put the different things that I want them to do. Then each of these, I can make something in here a link. So if I had my dog video, and of course I closed it now. Let's go YouTube. Let's try funny dog videos.
Also use the Explore button.
Oh,
Slides.
So what Derek brought up, if I click here, and I can go to this little guy right down here. I can search the web for something funny.
Actually, that might not work for video. Or does
It will bring up the web results.
Okay.
So you can see here what it did is it brought up different websites. Now, if I click it, it's going to let me preview it. Okay. I could find something that way, or I can find it up here, whichever way you want. But if I find my funny dog video, let's just grab one here. We'll copy the link. If I click that little check mark, I can hit the link and paste it in. So I can make that a clickable area for students to click and be able to do something. But this would have the advantage that it has all this laid out for you day by day. But the other nice thing is you could reuse this every week. And it's kind of a way that you could train students and parents. They already know what they're going to see. They're going to know how it's laid out. And it's not something that changes all the time. that's the one thing, if you look at some of these, like the Bunee is really fun. But if you keep using a different look every single week, they may not know where something is. They'll have to search to try to find it. Something like this, it's already laid out in a simple manner. We can see what days there are, and it lets you as a teacher break it down in a very simple pattern. But there are lots of different templates in here that you could use to find something that works a little more for you. Now, they also have these cool notebook ones. So if you didn't like that kind of week layout, they have ones that are a little more different, like this guy. Kind of looks like a little 3-ring binder. And you could obviously rename any of these where it says like title A, B, C, or D. You could rename that into a day of the week. So those all have a lot of different options on the Slidesmania that has it. Now, it goes just the same way. If this is something I want to share with my students, I can hit share. Where it says get link. Oh, this one already got changed to anyone with the link can access. I'll be good to go. But lots of neat things in the Slidesmania that you can click around with and have some fun to get different things. Any questions on the Slidesmania? Pretty simple. I mean, if you go around there and click, it just is like a big collection of stuff. Now, if you're still looking for something interactive, but you want the students to do something interactive, all right, in here I did put a link to some Google Draw templates. And what Google Draw is that's a platform that's built into Google, but think of it as kind of like a, what would be a good way to explain it? Like a kind of like a paint kind of thing,
or like Publisher. If you're used to Publisher, you can make shapes and flowcharts and all kinds of cool things really easily.
So for example, here, this has 30 free Google Draw templates. So if we look through this, these have little things that students could complete. All right. We can see there's lots of different things that come along with this. Oops. Let's see if I can find, here's like a cause and effect. So if I click this, it's a little template. So I can take this and say, I want to make a copy for myself. It opens up. It actually has instructions for the students on what to do. But you as the teacher could kind of front load this a little bit. So maybe this is where the red fern grows. Now, Darren, this may break your heart, but I honestly don't remember anything about where the red fern grows. So I have no cause that I could put in. What anyone can I have an idea for where the red fern grows?
He saves up money and he gets a dog.
Spoiler alert. So he saves up money and buys dog. Then you could have like, what is the effect of him doing that?
Parents get a divorce.
Because he bought the dog?
Yeah, because he didn't take care of it.
Oh my gosh, this is a terrible book.
This is the dollar store one.
The dollar store.
It's like the cheap knockoff.
He becomes the best coon hunter in the county.
He's riding the coattails of the dogs.
So you can see, you can go through this and students would have something in there, but I could type the cause in there, and then the students have to type the effect. But on this website, there's all kinds of pre-made templates that students could use, but also note, you don't have to use these electronically. These are things that you most certainly could also print out if students didn't have technology, and they could fill this in on paper. So there's all kinds of really great diagrams in here that fit a lot of different kind of needs that could be done electronically. It could be done easily on a Chromebook, or it could be printed out on paper for a student to complete separately. I also put a link to another one on here that has even more templates. This one's collected for a certain school district. They have lots, and they break it down by different categories. So if you're looking for something for math or if you're looking for science, they have different ones that go along with it. But we can see here's like a KWL chart. So this has a nice little simple one, you know, what I know, what I want to know, or what I have learned. This is a great one for your pre and post. They also have another one in here that's kind of neat is the meme generator. So students can do different ones that go along with a certain meme. But these are great for students to do some kind of interactive part to go along with it. You know, if you had students that are old enough, you could actually tell them, pick the tool that works best for you to organize this. So if they're reading Where the Red Fern Grows, have them pick the one and complete it as maybe they're reading to complete that information. All right. But try to show some different models and different ways that you can kind of use these and give you a repository. Because I know a lot of spots, if I go to Teachers Pay Teachers, you know, there's people selling all kinds of those like Bitmoji classroom things. But you can see the majority of all of them, if I go into most of these, especially that Wakelet, there's such a huge collection of ones that are already made for you. You wouldn't have to use a Teacher Pay Teacher. There's all these that are already set up, ready for you to download and use with very minimal tweaking on your part. All right. So what I'll do is I'm going to stop the recording here in a second, and then you guys can kind of ask any questions or share anything that you want. Does that sound good? Excellent. So thank you for watching, people who are watching the recording.